Hello, good morning. How are you today? I hope that you're well and that you slept well. So this morning I wanted to do a little video in the kitchen. As I was up really early, this was a great opportunity for me to just get outside into the garden and pick some herbs. So I was able to get, this is just a small amount that I've kept out for myself that I'll use fresh for tea. So I was able to get roses, calendula, some lavender. The chamomile wasn't quite ready. I find the best time to pick your plants, if you can, is first thing in the morning when the dew's there, because throughout the day they lose their essential oils. Everything starts to get evaporated out through by the sun. So at night when the sun goes down, everything gets a chance to go back into itself, and then I can still feel these are a little bit moist, and then that beautiful morning dew. So they're full of, they're quite strong in smell and taste, but you can pick them throughout the day, but just that you'll find it is better in the morning. Then I was able to come in and try some stuff, do some self-study as well with the herbs. I got out more of my books because I find it's amazing how I've not gone to certain books and I've gone back to them and I think, God, why have I not looked at you for so long? So this is the one I've got out. Then I needed a little break just to absorb the information I've been taking in. So I thought I would do some sort of flatbread, and although I have used different flours in the past, I do like to use white flour, and I will try and get like an organic and stoneground one and make my own yeast, so it is more of a sourdough. And you don't have to, but I find the sourdough, because of the lactic acids, it's a lot better for you, a lot better for your gut. It doesn't have the same spikes that a normal bread would. So I'll go ahead and just tell you what I done. I will share, it was a recipe that I found, but I always like to venture off to do my own thing. I noticed this morning, because I was doing everything from my amount was quite a lot, so I had to kind of judge it, but thinking about it, it was probably about, roughly give or take, 500 grams of the flour. I used a big dollop of this, would work out maybe 100 plus grams of the sourdough starter, about a teaspoon of salt. I used the Celtic this time, salt, that's grey, so that works out maybe about 5 grams. There was maybe like 300 grams of water, give or take, and I used a big amount, like a big that just came out, but I know how to kind of work with it. So that, and then I blended it with herbs, and then I used to do it with hand, but I got a food processor, and what a difference. So within about 30 seconds, 40 seconds, you've got this nice bit of dough. And because it was a large amount, and I've been making them over the last couple of weeks, and I've been experimenting, sometimes they've come out a bit thick, probably more in the thicker side, but I do quite like that, but it did make it a little bit doughy. And so this morning's one, I managed to cut them into 3 lots of dough, and I can show you the first one that I've already cooked. So the first one, it has olives, it has tomatoes, it has a sort of cheese, I can't remember the cheese, it'll come back to me, mozzarella, sorry, and it has peppers, and this one with herbs. This one here, I made it a little bit thinner, so it's really quite herby, and this one's got, well, it's the black olives. And for this demonstration purpose, this was a smaller one that I've gone out and just flattened it, but I'll show you what I do. The oven is on, it's about 220 degrees. It's fan oven, so it needs to be quite hot. When I was working from a recipe, it said 15 minutes. It doesn't take 15 minutes, maybe because mine's are a little bit thicker. So my first one took 25 minutes and that was with a hot oven. The second one took about 20 minutes because it was a little bit thinner. This one is even thinner, so I'll check it after 15 minutes, and if I think it needs a little bit more time, I'll just put it back in. And the purpose of this video is to inspire you to make nourishing and healthy foods, but also showing you, that you can still enjoy bread and don't go for the shop bought yeast. Make your own. It's very easy and it's very easy to maintain. You can make all this delicious food instead of buying it from a supermarket where it's full of X amount of ingredients, and it's super simple. So if you think it only took me, so say 10 minutes, if that, to get the dough, all the ingredients, 5 minutes, and then I put it in, this is just a small bowl, so I'll put it in a small bowl. It was in its like dough form. There was a little bit flour, but you can put oil, and then I covered it in cling film and I sat it away. It's quite warm today in the kitchen for an hour, but because I was busy, a couple hours went past, and that's totally fine. You can leave it longer, but you don't need to leave it as long. And then what I did was I took it out and just folded it a couple of times and then put it back in and let it prove for another 30 minutes. And then lifted it out with some flour in my hands, and because it was quite big, I sliced it into smaller bits and then worked with that. So as you can see, it's on a baking dish with parchment paper. It's just flat, it's got herbs in it. So I'm just going to be doing 1/2. I'll do it this side. You can use as much or as less as you want. You can use garlic, but I never had any left because I've used it in my concoctions. You can put different cheeses on it. You can do absolutely anything. It's like a pizza, really. So I'm just using olives, plain olives for this one because I've used other ingredients in the other one. I do really quite like the olive, very olivey. And the children like the black olives because they're quite creamy, which is great. And then I'll have some medicinal properties from the herbs. So I think there was thyme, oregano, and I think there was something else, I can't remember, because I blended it a few days ago. That's why it's always good to label. I'll just put this over like this. So as you can see, don't be worried if it starts to rip because it's quite nice when the olives poke through. You don't need to pour about too much. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's your concoction. Just if there's any thick bits that you find, the really thick bits, you can just flatten them out with your fingers. And I've got some oil in here, and this was sun-dried tomatoes that it was fused in, but you don't have to, it's just because that's what I had and it gives it a really tasty flavour. I find that with those other ones, because they were quite thick, I did add more oil on top to give it like a really nice oily texture. So don't be afraid to use the oil, especially a good quality one, like an olive oil, extra virgin. And yeah, don't be afraid of the oil. And these don't take long at all. And the good thing about when you make your own bread, you just leave it on the counter to rise. People get afraid to work with a sourdough. It does need a little bit more looking after, in the sense, especially when I make a bread, I'll do a bit of kneading, give it 10 minutes rise, then go back to it, then 10 minutes, and I'll do that a few times, then leave it, sometimes 8 hours, longer, overnight at times, to get a really lovely bread. But I've been enjoying making these flatbread because you don't need to leave it to rise for the same amount of time, which is great. So as you can see here, if you can, that's all quite oiled, and I do have some more dried herbs to put on top. Because I want to make this a short video, I'll put it in the oven, but you won't get to see the results, but I'll go ahead and show you those other 2 ones again. So, and this is entirely up to you. It's your concoction, it's your creation. See what you're drawn to, and you keep learning, just as I did, you know, so don't worry if you mess it up, it's still edible, and then you just keep working on it. So here we go, I'll just put this in the oven. I do have a wee timer on here, so I'll set it for 15 minutes. And I'll check it, and if it needs longer, I'll give it longer. So, one more time. This was batch number 2. It's really nice. I can feel the oil, looks delicious. I look forward to eating a bit of this. Well, I'm not sure which bit to go to first. Here we go. This one's really like a big meal. It's got all that delicious ingredients. So that's the little video for today. I have roasted my chicken before because I want to make a chicken stock, which I'll try and do a wee video for that nourishing health benefits of a bone broth, to get all that beautiful gelatin and minerals, and there's so much. So keep your eyes posted and feel free to drop me a message. But anyway, I hope that you're inspired to go create something and eat something you enjoy. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again. Bye.